open the door and step into your house, tracking mud on the newly cleaned floors. Roll a persuasion check.
10.
That is not enough. You fail, and your roommates come and pummel you out of anger.
There's mud all over the floor.
You made a mess. Welcome to Threshold Moonlight, our D&D 5e podcast. My name is Matt. I'll be your dungeon master for this adventure.
And I am Tom, the handsome protagonist.
You gotta stop saying that, because immediately afterwards you're like, and then I'm covered in mud and dirt and I smell really bad.
He's handsome in spirit. I'll be playing the main character, Crescere. Goes by Cress.
We last left Cress doing battle with a vicious beast, a Nothic, a wizard twisted by arcane magics and a curse left behind by a lich. You want to maybe set the scene and let us know what's going on here?
Yeah, I just tiger pawed him to death after seeing...
I believe it's a bear. It's a bear paw.
It's not a bear. This is unbearable.
Hey, getting started early with the puns today.
I've been waiting, but I was a tiger.
Buckle up, listeners.
I saw horrible visions of dark magics and evil things, and then I got grossed out, and then I killed him.
He was defenseless, and you killed him in cold blood.
Yep.
Doing the world a favor. So, you're standing in the sewers, ankle deep. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're not ankle deep. That was the other tunnel. With a trickle of water just running underneath you out towards the main cistern in the middle. It's dim. Your elf eyes pierce the darkness, and go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so I just killed him, and I'm gonna untiger myself.
I feel like there should be a badass sound effect when you change.
I was gonna say it's more gradual. You see the hair kind of retract, and I just become myself again over the course of like 30 seconds.
Ooh, okay. Now in my head, I have a picture of an Animorphs book.
It's basically that.
Oh my gosh! Now I wish I'd read more Animorphs as a kid.
Yeah, I'm just an Animorph. So that happens. You flip through that, or you. It's a holographic cover thing, right? I don't remember.
Yeah, there you go.
So I do that back to Crest form, and I start gathering up the corpse. I put the eyeball in a sack, and then kind of use my...
It swishes.
Oh, God. And then I use the vine rope. That was out of character. Crest isn't grossed out at all.
That's right. He's done way worse things.
Yeah, so he just used the vine rope. He kind of binds the legs and just kind of drapes it over his back like he would a normal hunting kill. And he's just he got a Nothic on his back, and now he's going to look around and see if there's any corpses or stuff.
You see, off in the corner, there's a little, like, tiny dug out side area. Maybe it almost looks like a nest or a burrowed out area. Some of the flagstone and rocks are moved aside and into the dirt. And in this little nesting area, you see piles of bones and just skulls and rib cages sitting there in a heap next to a lumpy pile covered in a blanket. Just a big pile of something with a blanket.
I'm gonna go rip it off.
Cloth covering draped over it. You walk over, you grab the blanket and rip it off and throw it aside, and you see just a small treasure, a box with the lid open containing 200 gold pieces, maybe 75 silver pieces, and 52 copper pieces, sitting in this small treasure chest. Next to the treasure chest, you see just books, arcane books, with magical inscriptions on the covers, kind of just sitting there. You feel no real presence of power or anything from them. And then sitting atop one of the piles of books, you see a pair of gauntlets, wrist guards made out of fine leather.
Leather. Okay, good. Can I just gather all this up into sacks?
You taking the books?
Yes, if I can carry them.
There's probably too many for you to carry in one go. Did you maybe want to search through and see which ones you want?
He doesn't really have any knowledge of books at all. He's just going to pick which looks like the most expensive-y ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple stacked separate from the rest of them that have like brass edging pieces on all of the corners and their leather covers. They seem to be in better condition than the rest of them.
I'm also gonna pick the one that is in the oldest, worst condition.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get the nicest ones, and then from whatever oldest stack, I'm gonna get the most tattered one.
Okay.
Get all those together. Put them in.
So you probably have about
sacks.
10 books in total. It's pretty heavy, a good amount of weight that you're carrying. You throw it into a sack. Maybe you wrap it up in the blanket, the cloth that was covering this thing, and you don't really see anything else of significance in this area.
Okay, so I'm just gonna head back the way I came, kind of encumbered, moving slowly through the sewer, ready to exit.
Okay. You make your way around the cistern. This time, a little more sure of your footing. Despite your encumbrance, there's nothing really unnerving you anymore.
And I'm moving slowly.
Everything seems a little bit more relaxed than the first time you walked around. You walk up the first tunnel with the light trickle of water flowing over your feet. You make it up to the wrought iron gate, and standing in front of it, facing away from you, is the elf who opened the gate for you the first time.
So I'm gonna knock on it with my staff, like a dunk, dunk, dunk.
The elf kind of stands there, turns his head and looks in a couple different directions, then realizes, the gate. He turns around and, very surprised, looks at you, and you see maybe a little bit of respect come across his face. He opens the gate for you, puts the chain in, or the key in, and turns it, opens it, and helps pull you out of the sewers.
And he's been standing guard this whole time?
Yeah. He may have been, kind of patrolling this general area. It's near to one of the towers. Okay. So
it's the same guy, though?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
I'm gonna give him 10 gold. Because I just got kind of a lot of wealth there, and he's been guarding down here.
Okay.
And
okay. He takes the gold from you, and he claps you on the shoulder and says, "You've done us a service. If you ever need anything, you can come seek me out."
I just give him a smile, and I just haul it up to the surface.
Okay. So do you have your map open?
Yep.
So you're close to between the top and the middle chord, in the central area, next to the flowing channel of water. And you've got your sack of books and your small fortune, along with a very odoriferous body and sack full of something that's squishing. The guard takes notice of this after you've kind of stepped out, and he steps back, realizing that you've got a corpse with you, and kind of just turns away, counting his gold pieces.
So is the school still open? Can I head right to the conjuration dome?
Sure. Yeah. As you walk up the main road there, down the middle of Crescere, people see this monstrous body, this hideous creature draped over your shoulders, and no one really says anything, but they all kind of shy away from you.
I'm walking
A
proud.
couple of guards kind of walk past you and give you some hard eyes, but no one does anything.
I'm proud of this. I'm trying to like strut my hunter prowess as I'm walking through the city. I don't know that it's kind of a weird thing to do.
Great.
Because in Galm, everyone would have been like, "Wow, that's a good one. We're gonna have a feast."
No one here has really ever seen this kind of thing done. Like maybe some of the people have ever even killed, with their own hands.
They all go to their stupid taverns and stuff. It's foreign to him.
That's right. So you make your way through the streets and wander up past the large pool of water, open the doors to the conjuration school, and
is it the same lady?
It's the same lady. She sees you walk in with not only the stench and dirt from before, but now smelling of the sewers and carrying the corpse of a monster with you.
Can I walk?
And she freaks out.
I want to walk up and try to lay the corpse on her table. Like, just flap it on the table and be like, I need to see Master Tear.
She doesn't say anything. She turns away. She lets out a soft whimper, and she is absolutely disgusted and horrified, and it's too much for her to process, and she totally shuts down. But at that moment, Master Tear walks out from a side room from the large wooden doors. He looks at you. He sees the Nothic corpse on the receptionist's desk, and he says, "You've done it.
I brought your quarry."
I didn't think you could. You'll have your meeting now.
Would you like me to bring this? And I just gesture towards the corpse.
No. And he kind of gestures to another elf standing in the corner of the room who steps forward kind of nervously, unsure of this thing. He picks it up sort of like picking up something gross, almost between like two fingers, but it's a giant beast, so he's got to kind of get in there, and he's disgusted by it, but he carries it off, takes it out through a back room, and it disappears with it. Master Tear steps forward and gestures with a hand out for you to follow him back through the door he came from.
Okay, I'm following him.
He leads you through some winding hallways. There's maybe a few classrooms and labs on either side. As you walk past, you can peek in and see various magics and experiments going on. You walk past one room and it's completely empty except for a small pot in the middle of the room, and then you hear a loud explosion of magic, and the pot is destroyed, and a large tree forms in the middle of the room out of nowhere, and a branch flies out, and you have to duck under it as you walk forward. And at the end of the hallway, there is a plain wooden door. Master Tear opens it and walks through into his study, which is sort of like, imagine like a rustic library with just walls of books, maybe 2 stories tall, and a single desk on the opposite side of the room. Maybe 20 feet away from you, and it's very ornate, just with runes and inscriptions carved into the wood, iron caps on the corners of the edge, and he sits down behind this desk, gestures to a chair for you to sit down in front of him, and says, "What can I help you with?"
First things first, and I toss him the bag of the Nothic's eye. And I said, the book learners.
Squishes.
The book learners might want to study that.
It rolls across his desk and squishes into his lap. He picks it up unfazed by this, opens a drawer in his desk and drops it inside, closes it, and says, "Yes, excellent. Nothix can be a source of vast knowledge, twisted by evil though they may be."
Speaking of evil, I seek information on the Cruor Potentia. I think they may have resurfaced in some way, and I'm trying to find what's the meaning of this. All I sense is great evil at every turn.
Make a persuasion check. Since you mentioned that they've resurfaced, you think they've resurfaced.
Okay.
Feel free to add in some maybe flavor text as he's sitting there as you say this, and scrutinizing your face, staring at you through squinted eyes, especially after you've said that they've resurfaced.
It's a crit fail.
A crit
or a 1, I guess.
Fail. He says, "Impossible. The Cruor could never come back. We dispatched them. My lineage goes straight back to one of the men responsible for bringing those monsters to justice. They will never return."
What were they?
The Cruor were blood mages, responsible for murder, destruction, and the most foul magic you can imagine. Driven by pure evil, something consumed these men in their search for power. It drove them to commit atrocities against elves and nature. You cannot imagine the horrors that these elves committed.
And I think back to what I saw with the Nothix, and I go, yes. Well, I don't know if I'm crazy or what. I've never left my hometown for an extended period till now, but I'm driven by something. And
What has you convinced that the Cruor is returned?
Lunam appeared to me and told me that I need to stop them.
He's gonna make an Arcana check against your sort of aura, just looking to see what he can tell. He stares at you, squinting through his glasses again, and he adjusts them. And then he's leaning forward as he does this, and after a moment of looking, he sits back in his chair. And you can tell that he sensed something powerful, probably Lunam's presence.
And I'm looking down at my
you.
staff. I'm like playing with my staff, looking at the moon pendant on it. Just, it looks like I'm soul searching. I'm trying to decide, am I crazy? What am I doing?
You don't believe you. Okay.
Sometimes, know, a celestial being appeared to me, told me to do this. Everything seems right most of the time, but every once in a while I'm just like, what are you doing? You're chasing after demons.
He believes you, believes that you believe this at least, and he believes that Lunam has appeared to you. So he says, after staring at you, "If Lunam has said that this has happened, then it must have happened. I know nothing of a return. If you are seeking evil in Crescere, there is one place that you'll be sure to find it." And
I perk up.
He gestures down towards the city below you too, just off in a direction. There's no windows or anything. And then he says, "You'll have to head to the underbelly of the city. There's all sorts of violence and danger there. But if something foul is afoot in Crescere, those people will know about it."
Okay. And then I grab the books out of it, and I stack them on his desk. And I say, I may have a debt to settle with a book merchant, so I might need some of these. But I figured the school should have at least one.
He takes the books and looks through them. He picks up the old dusty tome, the oldest one that you've brought back. He looks at the cover, flips through the pages. Some dust falls out onto his desk, which he neatly scoops into a pile and throws into a bin. He glosses over the words, and he kind of wide-eyed gazes at the bounty of texts you've placed before him, and very excitedly begins to put them away in his bookshelves. He takes all of them and puts all of them away, and then says to you, "What does this book merchant need?"
I may have tore up a very important thing to him. I wasn't really thinking at the time, and I take out a bunch of crumpled pages from one of my fur pouches.
Master Tear takes one of them and smooths them out on the table as you do this. He smooths out the paper and sees the heading at the top. He frowns and kind of looks almost sad that these pages have been ripped out. He stands up and walks over towards a small bookshelf separate from the rest of them, and pulls out a pristine copy of the same book you tore up, this history of Arx Nocere. And he brings it over and plops it onto the table and says, "From my personal collection, thank you for ridding the city of this evil. You've done us a great service."
So I scoop up the book and say, I'll be traveling back to what you call the underbelly. Do you need anything else from me?
You've done more than enough for this city. Be careful. And he kind of looks away from you and turns back to his desk.
Okay. I'm going to book it.
That
was not intended, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
You did it anyway.
I enjoyed it.
Cool. So you walk back through the hallways and whatnot. The tree's gone now. The branches, there's maybe some leaves scattered on the ground, but that's the only remnants of that. You make it out into the main lobby.
Wait, the tree's gone?
Yeah, just some leaves on the ground.
In that room, is there still like that room? Do I see it?
Yeah, there's that room still.
Are there students in there that I can like mess with?
There is one lone elf in there, looking a little bit scared.
I was gonna conjure a flame in the room.
Okay. Do you do this?
Yeah, I'm gonna use Can I like conjure it in my hand and just kind of toss it in there?
Sure.
Okay. So there's a door. I'm assuming I walk by. I conjure. I use a conjuration cantrip, produce flame, conjure a green fireball in my hand, and just kind of toss it in on whatever they're conjuring, and they just keep running.
You hear as you run past a scream, a high pitched scream, and then some shouts in a magical tongue and a splash of water, just like a deluge of water. Like someone has just dumped a huge amount of water into this room, and it comes crashing out into the hallways. And you've got a couple inches of water around your feet now as you
Crest thinks this is hilarious. He's just laughing and just running and going, book learners.
You quickly make your way out hastily, not looking back, maybe. You make it out into the main lobby, and the receptionist is gone. There's just no one at that desk right now.
I'm glad.
There's a tall, strong-looking elf. The one that tried to throw you out last time. He's standing next to the door as you walk out, and he smiles at you, looking over at the receptionist desk, and chuckles to himself as he stands there and you walk past.
We share like that bro chin thing.
Oh, you nod at him a little bit?
I give him like the upwards nod, like.
And he nods his head a little, like
that's good.
Yeah.
She's kind of hard to be around, and then okay. So what time of day is it as I exit the school?
It's getting to be around dinner time. We'll say the sun is starting to dip lower in the sky. It'll be dusk pretty soon.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna. I'll head all the way back and go to my inn, which I think is in the kind of close to. It's kind of close to the bad part of town anyway, and I'm gonna try and. I'm gonna try to sleep. I'm not trying to encounter anyone. If Agril's there, I'd rather just avoid her and get a good night's rest at this point.
Okay. You head back to the stable. You going to the stable, or going to the
straight to the stable?
Yeah, and you don't see anyone that you know along the way. No one stops you or does anything, and they sort of just let you walk all the way back there. It's not bedtime per se for everyone in the city. There's people still walking around through the streets, having meals and shopping. But you go to sleep at this point for the evening. Turn in. Yeah,
I'm gonna do some prayer and meditation sometime throughout the night, and switch out some spells out of character. In character, He's just kind of concerning whether he's crazy, whether he's following the right path, praying to some nature gods and Lunam especially.
Okay, cool. The night passes. Everyone turns in several hours later than you. The city goes to sleep. And the next morning, the sun rises again, peeking over the turrets and the walls, pouring into the courtyard and washing you with warm light. And you wake unharmed and unscathed from your night.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'm editing a character sheet, getting all the stats and everything. And during the hour of prayer meditation, can we say I also looked at the bracers or the gauntlets?
You were tuning them?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me
asking the nature gods, asking for their insight.
Okay. You run your fingers across the intricate leather work. There's like embossed patterns of leaves and wind and birds, and it's all sort of being blown up the bracer as you'd be wearing it. So like starting at your hand and then working its way up towards your elbow.
I like it.
In a flowing motion. After tracing your hand over these markings and holding the bracers in your hand overnight, over several hours, you know that these are bracers of migration. They're worth a good amount of gold, 300 gold pieces, and what they allow you to do is 10 times per day, out of character, you will be allowed to recall a thrown item, something that you are holding in that hand. Each one gets 10 uses. So you can throw, say, a dagger or your staff, and then use an action to recall that item.
Cool.
Sorry, a bonus action. Excuse me, not a full action. Out of character, what spells have you swapped out?
I have gotten rid of Charm, Person, and Entangle, and now I have Detect Magic and Create or Destroy Water.
Okay.
It will be difficult for me to destroy water right now because I don't have any sand, I don't think. Okay.
You'd probably be able to find some of any materials you need would definitely be up in that first chord in the magic shops that Edirm mentioned to you. Or someone mentioned it to you. I don't remember.
It was Edirm.
Okay. Yeah. So it's morning. again, the din of patrons munching on their breakfasts pours out from the narcoleptic donkey.
God, the tired mule.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of another word for mule.
I was like, what is the narcoleptic? Like, is that the in? I was trying to remember a narcoleptic character. It's tired mule.
It's my running joke as a way of avoiding the fact that I can't remember the names of places that I invent. So the tired mule. So the door kind of is sitting ajar, and you can hear people eating inside.
I'm gonna go have breakfast and
You doing your nasty rabbit jerky, spitting things on the table again?
a little bit less this time. I give him like some money. I don't know what's a fair breakfast thing. Copper pieces.
We'll say like 5 copper pieces. He hands you a bowl this time, just empty bowl.
And then
he kind of glances. He looks up, kind of tilts his head down and looks up at the top of his eyes towards you, and like, please spit this in the bowl this time.
Yeah. So I eat a little bit more. I'm getting used to the city. I'm kind of even though he doesn't like it, I'm kind of acclimatizing a little bit after my first day, and so I'm eating more normally. Is Agril up?
Yeah, she is sitting at a table. Do you go and sit at the same table while you eat?
Yeah.
Okay. She's kind of not talking to you. You sat down. She didn't look up to see you. She's just sitting there with a biscuit, and she's buttering it kind of angrily, like stabbing the bread a little bit. She munches on it and stares out the window, looking away from you.
Is something under your skin?
I went and talked to Edom yesterday. After you left.
Yeah? Is he still as a lovable guy as ever?
You put him under a spell.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I was in a rush to get my things done with the city. I'll go see him and make it right with him. I have something that will probably make him happy.
You had better. You destroyed one of his priceless books and took advantage of a kind person.
Yeah, I mean, all in a day's work.
She she suppresses laughter at this because she knows that this is just how you are.
I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
I let her see the book and say, "Do you think he'll like this?" And I show her the like mint copy of the history of the city book.
She opens her eyes really wide, and then she manages to hide the shit out of her approval, and she says, "Yeah, that's probably fine."
Is there any way that I could like shower or clean myself up, maybe shave?
There would be. Are you asking a grill or? Just
I'm asking out of character.
Okay. There's bathhouses probably near the middle of the cord next to the running water. It may be like diverted over towards them, where you might be able to clean yourself up for some gold. Alternatively, if you wanted a more druid-y way of doing so, there's a lake that the magical flowing water feeds into just outside of the city.
Cress reaches into his pocket and pulls out like 30 gold pieces and gives it to a grill and says, "Have a nice day in the city. I'm going to meet you around right before dinner. Back here."
She doesn't take your money. She kind of is still sour at you.
I'm leaving it on the table and I'm walking out fast.
As you leave the door, she reaches over and takes the purse, the coins, and puts them into a bag.
Okay, I'm gonna say Cress goes to the bathhouses. Like he's ready. He's gonna gear up. He's gonna go for it. And when he gets there, he's just like, it's overwhelming. There's like people taking people's clothes and doing stuff. He's just like, oh my god, these savages! And he just like runs out of the city. And he
the most horrifying thing he sees in this bathhouse, an elf removes all of its clothing, and then takes like a large towel, like a cloth towel, and wraps it around itself. And Cress cannot fathom why they would cover themselves.
And so he just like runs out of the city and just has a nice day out by the lake. He takes a bath. He shaves.
Okay.
And he spends most of the day like getting himself. So
what does he uses his bone daggers to shave?
Yeah, his bone daggers. Do you want me to make a check?
Yeah, make a check to see if you cut your own. No, you're not gonna kill yourself while you shave.
I just wanted to see. I want to like know if I come out like Robin Williams from Jumanji, or like just I look like amazing.
Okay. Let's just make a straight charisma save. We'll see if you manage to be debonair or if you
14.
14. Is that with your -1?
Yeah. I rolled pretty high.
Okay, you managed to do a pretty good job. You're not quite George Clooney, but you're far from Jumanji, Robin Williams, and you definitely smell just fine now.
So I want to. Can I skip it to evening where I like storm back into the city?
Oh, you're going in. You're going in at what, like 5 or 6 o'clock at night?
I wanted to meet a girl for dinner and just show her that like I look city. I tried to make myself as city-ish as possible. Like I've kind of gotten my leather armor a little bit. I've like dusted it off, and like I still look like someone trying. Not really,
okay.
But I've hidden a lot of the fur. I put a lot of the fur pouches into my leather pack, and I've tried really hard.
Okay.
To be a city folk.
She maybe doesn't recognize you when you return at first, and then she kind of opens her eyes wide and says, "I haven't seen you look this nice in a very long time, Cress."
I give her a smile. I reach into my pack. I pull out the rabbit jerky, and I act like I'm gonna rip it and spit it, and then I eat it very gently, like
okay,
like very very debonair. Let's say
the most debonair way that someone could eat rabbit jerky possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take out a stainless or sterling silver. No, I don't know.
No, yeah, you don't have one of those.
I know, I don't.
She as you jokingly do this, she just shakes her head at you like, really? So you're back at the sleep time horse thing inn.
Oh no.
What I honestly, it's the tired mule.
It's the tired mule. I'm trying to remember what you called it a long time ago, but whatever. Let's just go.
I think I called it the sleepy donkey or something.
But it's known as many things.
It goes by many names.
I hope the sign has it has a sleeping donkey, but it's poorly drawn, and then to the right of the sign is just a bunch of crossed out names.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's just changed owners many times.
Sure. Just like the sign has been recarved over the years, sort of like a bad tattoo getting covered up.
Yeah, like it says Metallica rules right in the middle.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't say that.
Someone just crossed it out angrily and wrote the tired mule.
Damn it, Tom, with your non-canon references. So you guys are in the tired mule inn. You're eating dinner with her?
Yeah, I have dinner. I show her I'm a city folk, and then I kind of tell her like I'll be heading across the street to that part of town tonight. Can I give her the book and say, can you make sure this finds Edrim?
Oh, I thought you did that this morning. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, give her the book, and
she gets up to go and deliver it to him, but since you've said that you're going to the shady part of town, she kind of tells you to be careful. Like, she says, as you mention this, there's nothing good in that area. If you go there, your life will be in danger. So promise me you will be careful.
I'll be careful, but I think they're gonna have to be more careful.
Oh shit! You're giving it the Rorschach. I'm not locked in here. You're not locked. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Badass.
And she kind of sees that like I got that like teenage like I'm invincible.
Oh, okay. Like a devil may care attitude of
Exactly.
bring it on. Okay.
Yeah.
She leaves and takes the book, walking off in the direction of Adam's bookstore, leaving you alone at the table.
And I'm gonna head across the street and try to find like the seediest. It's like almost nighttime, and I want to find the seediest gambling den or whatever.
Okay.
You know.
There's you head across the street and like there's broken lights and like lamps that are no longer functioning. Just kind of dim. The oil just sitting in a puddle, not ablaze. Things are dark and kind of run down. There's noise throughout the streets, just filling, everywhere. Empty shops here and there, but there's occasionally like a bar or a tavern just packed with people with raucous laughter and maybe a couple of them, with people punching each other, bar fights and whatnot. As you walk through the streets,
I'm just gonna pick whatever seems like there's some bad people in it. Just go into one of these bar fight areas.
You choose one particular bar with gambling going on. You walk in to the Fiery Worm. The sign above the doorway is just a flame with like a kind of like a worm shape. It's kind of nondescript, though. It looks a little bit inappropriate. You're not entirely sure. You walk in, and there's people rolling dice, playing different gambling games on some of the tables. There's people sitting at the bar, throwing back alcohol, drinking it deeply. Do you want to do any like perception or anything as you walk in the room?
Yeah, I'm perceiving with a 15.
Okay. Nothing seems super out of the ordinary. There's a couple people, at the bar that seem like tougher than the rest, and maybe one in particular who looks like just a badass, like big hulking guy. Who, no weapons or anything, just like thick leather clothing. It's not armor necessarily, but like tough guy who could probably deal quite a bruising.
I'm gonna go sit right next to him.
You also, before you go and sit down, as you purvey, is that a word?
Yeah.
The room, you notice in the corner, sort of in the a shadowy booth. There's a lone figure just sitting there. He's drinking, but with, did you say a 15?
Yeah.
With a 15, you notice that he's watching the room while he's pretending to be drinking.
I want to sit by the big guy. Mm-hmm. Assuming he's at the bar, right?
Yeah, he's at the bar. He's kind of standing there, not sitting. He seems to be engaged in some sort of drinking contest, but with no one in particular.
Well, I'm just gonna I'm gonna go up to the bar and be like, I'm gonna slam like a gold coin down and be like, give me something strong. And then I'm gonna lean by that guy and go, you hear about the crazy guy dragging a corpse through town today?
The elf looks at you and says, which one?
It was up in the high chords. What's going on in the city?
High chords? I don't bother with those namby-pamby elves up there, worried about their book learning. You want to learn something real? Come down here and hang out for a day.
Sometimes I go up there to steal more. Am I right?
He laughs heartily and claps you on the shoulder and looks at the bartender and says, "A round on me for my new friend here."
I'm drinking with him.
My name is Taron. What's yours?
Something fake that I'm thinking of. My name is Brusker.
Brusker. A round for Brusker. What the hell are you doing here in Crescere, Brusker? I don't believe I've seen you around before.
I did some scouting of the city up in the upper courts today. I'm looking for a big job. Can I do like some sort of check to see if he's gonna tell me something? Anything? Well, I'll buy him another drink. Can I try and buy him another drink?
Okay.
Get him more drunk.
You're gonna lubricate his voice,
Yeah.
Something.
I've been traveling around, and it was just one small paying job after another. I mean, we gotta eat too, right?
Taron laughs. He throws back another drink, and he says, I do just fine. He's resistant. He's not sharing too much with you. He was excited when you mentioned stealing and drinking, but now that you're kind of asking about more personal matters, he's kind of pulled back a little and is a little more reserved.
Yeah, I do fine too. And then I say another one on me, and I try to get. Can we get some stronger? Can I take like shots with him?
Oh, okay. You want to do like a little contest with him here a little bit, maybe?
Yeah.
It'll just be a con.
Will you allow me
contest?
to? Will you allow me to cheat?
Okay.
Can you?
How are you gonna do this?
I'm gonna try and sleight of hand to. Okay, I can either. I want to kind of try to use create water to make my shots water.
Okay. Is that a cantrip?
No, that's a first level spell. I'm gonna use a spell slot to try and make a shot water.
Okay. I will let you do that. Describe how you would do that as the bartender passes you and Taron your first shots. He's going to roll a con save, and we'll start with a DC of 10, and it'll go up by 1. Or it'll go up by 2 for each drink that he takes.
Okay, so when he passes our shots, I tilt mine and just kind of the bar I assume is messy. I spill mine out, but then I cast create water. And
doesn't this create like 10 gallons of water?
It's up to 10 gallons.
Okay, so you can create a shot-sized amount.
I'm just making a shot-sized amount of water.
Okay.
Out of a water drop that it can be any water drop. So I assume there's one on the shot glass, and I don't need that much material if I'm going to make a shot. So, bam, create water.
Okay. He's gonna throw back his real liquor and make his first con save at a DC 10, which he fails. So he throws it back, and that raises his DC to 12. You go ahead and throw back your water shot, totally unaffected by the drink. And Taron looks over at you and says, "Huh, the small elf thinks he can drink, eh? Another."
Let's do it.
He throws back, oh, damn. He throws back the shot. He's starting to get wobbly. He was probably a few in before you got there. He fails this one as well.
I'm not going to cheat this one.
You're going to throw this back for real.
What's
right.
the DC?
10.
I got 11.
You succeed. Okay. That raises the DC to 12.
Okay.
As you take a real drink. But you don't have any fails. We're going to say the first to get to 5 fails is just totally at the mercy of the other person.
Okay, so he's at 2 and I'm at 0?
That's
right?
correct.
Okay. Is that all you got? And then
I can go 1 for 1 with any elf in the city.
I motion for another round.
He grabs the drink as the bartender slams it down. He pounds it, and apparently he's super bad at drinking because he fails this one as well.
Well, let's say he's drinking all day.
Yeah,
I failed 2 this time.
Okay, you both kind of dip a little in your stance against the bar, getting a little wobbly in your knees. And Taron takes the shot glass and turns it upside down and slides it back to the bartender and says, Another. Ugh. As he starts to get really wobbly, the bartender throws another one down in front of the two of you. Taron grabs it, and he goes for a cheers this time.
He's gonna cheat. He's gonna try and
a cheers. He's gonna try
cheers.
Yeah.
And to debauchery, and I just
here.
Yeah, 18.
So you succeed, and he fails again. You taking a real drink?
Yeah.
All right.
The DC should be 16 now for me, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. You're one behind him. He fails his. He sort of gets wobbly. Oh, and the next is he's a little bit hazy at this point. He doesn't do anything after he takes that last shot.
I'm gonna say, how about one last one, a special one, and I'm gonna get some alcohol.
Okay.
Get 2 shots, and then I'm gonna cast Produce Flame and do the cool like fiery shots that they do. You know.
Whoa! He just kind of is like super drunk and really amazed by a simple magic trick that like most people in the city could probably do.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just saying, when the world burns, we'll be the one on top. And I give him another cheers.
Ah! And he throws the drink back.
Can I try to cheat him on this one too?
Sure. You can do your produce water. No problem.
Okay, I'm gonna try to cheat again. I guess I'm using another spell slot.
He fails, so he is totally sloshed. That's 5 fails for him. Did you succeed openly drinking your shot of water, and he's totally out of it at this point, not really able to kind of stand up straight. He kind of slumps over and takes a seat at a nearby booth, kind of falling over, stumbling, taking a table down with him as he goes, crashing into the booth and kind of opens his eyes in that way that, you know, like the room is spinning. Whoa. The table that Taron has flipped over as he makes his way over to the bar was just covered, or to the booth, was just covered in money and dice, and 2 tough-looking elves were sitting there gambling with each other. Money goes flying. The 2 of them stand up, throw their chairs back, and they both draw daggers and begin scuffling. And it looks as though the entire bar is going to be caught up in this huge brawl. Do you do anything?
I want to talk to my new friend. I guess I.
Before you have a chance to act, you, with your passive perception of 13, you smell something with your passive perception of 13. You don't know exactly what it is. There's an energy. It begins to grow stronger. And then there's a loud bang as a clockwork mechanized hunter appears in the middle of the bar, and he says, "Karim Erowin, surrender yourself to the procurer."
Oh shit.
He grabs one of the men with the daggers, looks over at the other one, and takes the duster, the hat that this man is wearing, sort of like an old cowboy hat, and puts it on his head, and then poofs right back out of existence, taking along with him this other elf. And the whole room is just bathed in the smell of ozone and electricity, as this other elf gathers up all of the gold that's on the ground now strewn about, and things calm back down.
Yeah, and I yell, "Good riddance!"
And Taron did not notice this at all.
So I go sit next to him, and I say, "Yeah, I'm traveled all this way to the city, and I'm just looking for a high-paying job.
A high-paying job, eh? Oh, me and my buddies, we've got a pretty sweet gig right now.
You look like you do well for yourself.
I can't tell you about it, though. It's a secret. I'll tell you anyway, since we're such good friends.
Yeah.
He kind of lurches forward and smacks his head on the table, falling asleep momentarily, and jolts back awake and says, "So my buddies and I, we've been taking people at night, and we bring them over to this guy, and then he gives us a lot of gold."
That's perfect. What guy?
At this point, he leans back in his chair a little too far, puts his head against the padding of the seat, and falls asleep, soundly asleep.
Can I root through his belongings and see if there's any notes or anything, any contact information?
Sure. You can you root through his things and you find a note, several notes, in a stack that are kind of just held together with a piece of twine and whatnot. One of them looks brand new, written sometime in the last day or so. All of them carry the same marking, which is just a dagger, a symbol of a dagger, and it says just a location.
Okay.
All of them have different locations written on them, just different places around town.
Is there a way for me to, like, is it a location and a time, or can I, like, do I know where I would be next? Does that mean, do I know when the next time they're going to try and take someone is?
It doesn't have any times on there, but it does have a location, and there's several of them, and the one that's brand new, it doesn't have any other markings on it. The older ones have like a slash through them, or like it's torn a little bit to indicate that they've accomplished that one. And the one that's today says Dolist Alley. Just the name of a simple passageway, probably somewhere in the city. You get the sense that this is probably a dead drop location. And as you're rooting through the pockets of Tehran, the dark figure who was sitting in the back of the inn has made his way over towards you. Totally just totally undercover. You were unaware of his approach as you were searching for these things. He grabs you by the shoulder and attempts to force you back down into your chair.
Okay. Do I need to make a strength contact?
Well, you can let him.
I'm going to let him.
Okay.
I'm a little drunk.
He shoves you down into the chair, pushes Tehran aside, and scooches his way over into the booth. And he says, "You don't want to be getting involved with Tehran and his people."
Who are you?
That's not important. What I can tell you is, I know about what you're looking for.
Well, what's it going to take for you to help me find it?
Help you? Why would I do something like that?
And what are you after? Gold? And I pull out a bag of gold, like all of my gold, and set it on the table.
I'm not interested in that. People been going missing around these parts. Taken by Tehran and his men. I don't know where to. I just know they never come back. They've got my wife. They took her.
When?
2 days ago.
And then I show him the list, and I say, "Is her name on here?"
What list?
The cards or whatever, the notes, you know?
The notes just have locations.
Oh, shit.
None of them have... It's not like a shopping list of names or anything. It's just locations.
Then I don't do that.
Fair enough.
I'm fixing to find out where these people are being taken to and stop the people doing it. You're welcome to come with, just don't screw it up. I know what I'm doing.
Name's Malgath. You can call me Mal. We need to find these people. They've been taking people for weeks now.
I think
Don't
I know
what
where
for. We never see him again, though.
I think I know where we need to be, and I show him the location.
He knows. He seems to know exactly where this is. He looks at you and nods, and prepares to stand up and leave the inn, the tavern. And I think that's going to be the end of episode 4.
Sounds good.
You and Mal getting ready to go and meet at the location Taron has on his note. Questions, comments, anything you want to talk about?
It was good. I'm excited to go to this place. I'm not sure how I felt about using my spell slots for the non-combat, but I don't know. If I'm not going to metagame it, it seems like I would try to cheat as much as possible to try and get the info, you know?
Cress is probably not a heavy drinker, so it would make sense that he would want to avoid trying to imbibe too much, especially if he's on a fact-finding mission.
My con isn't particularly high. I got a +1, and
Taron has a high con, but he did not roll above a 5 for any of his drinks.
So good.
He was bombed by the end of that.
I've
never played a drunk person before. I hope it wasn't super annoying, but
I think it's fine. Yeah, I tried to clean up Cress a little bit, just because. I mean, I feel like after being coming in dirty, then going in the sewers, having a gory battle, I feel like you would have, at some point, enough was enough.
Yeah, and he's kind of grossed out by himself at this point.
Yeah, he took a bath, he shaved, and he's kind of, I kind of like I'm trying, he's trying to approach his former self. I mean, he's been...
this is not only a journey back to Nidoray, it's a journey back to Cress.
Exactly, yeah. He's been a dirty hermit for 40-something years, and now even though he's like, fuck the city, maybe he likes it.
Well, next week we'll join Cress back as we try to move closer back to where he was. This is Threshold Moonlight. If you enjoy it, if you like it, make sure you go and check out the original Threshold made by the D6 Mafia.
Yeah, we had a cameo of the Procurer.
Yeah, the Procurer. If you like the Clockwork Bounty Hunter, make sure you go and listen to Threshold. They invented him, and I shamelessly borrowed him. I hope that's all right. Just a cameo appearance. Maybe he'll be back. Who knows? Other than that, go to d6mafia.com, youtube.com/the D6Mafia. Check out all their stuff. It's super awesome. Our show updates every Thursday. Go to studiolt3.com. For updates. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, and you can hit us up on social media, Twitter. We're at Studio LT3. Or what's our Facebook?
It's facebook.com/StudioLT3.
Come and talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Other than that, thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you next week.
I'll see you next week.